Hello, everyone, and welcome. I thank Senator Menendez for his remarks, for his leadership, and for being here today, and all of you. I think people will be struck by the scenes they see being recorded by all the cameras behind you of the crowd that is here today and the steadfastness of all of us in standing up for what New Jersey is really all about and always has been. I was born here and raised here. I've spent my whole life here, and now Mary Pat and I raise our family here. One of the reasons that we love this state so much is because our children and your children can experience everything that America and the world has to offer within the borders of this relatively small state. We are the most ethnically and religiously diverse state in the nation. And each and every day, we together fight the fights that need to be fought, experience the joys that life brings us through our family, our friends, and our work, and live together peacefully and happily, trying to achieve all we can, not only for us, but most importantly for the next generation. JCCs are integral to our ability to do what we want to do for our children and our families. I grew up in Livingston and spent my entire youth there, growing up in a very diverse town, a town filled with Catholics and Jews, filled with Asians and African Americans, who all worked together, grew up together. And so that's why this level of hatred is so foreign to my experience in New Jersey. Not that I don't know it exists, we do. But I saw how people can live and work together growing up in my town, going to more bar mitzvahs and bat mitzvahs than I could count during my 13-year-old year, and never thinking for a moment that there was any reason why the Italian-Irish Catholic shouldn't be sitting there celebrating with his Jewish friends their movement into adulthood. I think sometimes in New Jersey we take this experience for granted, and that is why today is so important. The rest of our nation, in its pockets of other 49 states, are not as diverse as we are. And there are those who have hate in their hearts based upon many, many different factors. But none of them are justified. And if we don't stand up and speak out, not only about the fact that any type of bias act is intolerable, but to also speak about the opposite side of how much this diversity brings to life's experiences, how much better it makes us as a people, how much better it makes us as parents to have experienced all this as children. We will stand up and fight the fights that need to be fought, but we also need to raise our voices in the celebration of what a place like this means to becoming a fuller and better human being. You see, in New Jersey, we have learned over our lifetimes that this diversity is part of what makes this place so special, and what makes our experience different than many other experiences around the rest of even this diverse nation. And so, as governor, we will continue to speak out. Our Attorney General is aggressively enforcing the law that Senator Menendez referenced, and we now have $10,000 rewards available for any leads that lead us to the violation of bias crimes, and anyone in this state who commits that type of crime will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law and sent to prison. We need to do that, but that really is the smallest part of what we need to do. This group in this room and those you represent will ultimately be the people who will put a stop to this activity. We will arrest those who need to be arrested. We will speak out as leaders to stand up for all those in this state who need protecting against these type of acts. But in the end, it is our greater society that stands up and lets everyone know every day that this type of conduct is unacceptable. When we hear the awful remark when we're standing in line at the dry cleaners, we need to let that person know that's unacceptable. When we're standing on the soccer field, and we see comments and acts of bias against children who are different on the field, and we've all seen it over the course of time, it is not good enough for us to stand silently and wait for someone in authority to do something about it. We need to do something about it. It's not good enough. It's not good enough for us to stand by when we see intolerance being practiced against anyone, for us to stand by and wait for someone else to do something. The great thing about our state is that we are a people who live with great emotion. Great emotion. Any of the elected officials on this stage can tell you that our constituents are not only bright and amongst the best educated in the nation, but they are also people who feel and emote. Sometimes that can be a little disturbing if you're standing up here. But more times than not, I take great pride in that. My constituents tell me what they think and how they feel, both when they're happy with what I've done and when they're unhappy with what I've done. But that emotion and that passion cannot and should not only be directed at those who you elect and put in power. They need to be expressed to your neighbors, to your colleagues, to your friends. That is what will build an even stronger fabric in this state behind the notion that bias against anyone based upon race, religion, ethnicity, sexual orientation is completely unacceptable to us as a neighborhood, as a community, as a town, and as a state. It will not come just from me or the people you see standing up here with me. In the end, it will come from all of you, working with us to make sure that people understand that if you want to be one of the 8.9 million people in New Jersey, one of the requirements is to love thy neighbor as you would love yourself. We will continue to speak out against anti-Semitism because anti-Semitism is baseless, anti-Semitism is hate, and anti-Semitism is wrong to be expressed and to be heard by anyone in this society. But we will also speak out against all other forms of hate as well. And the Jewish community, in my experience in this state, has been more sensitive to this issue than any other community because you have, in fact, experienced that hate firsthand. And so when you watch hate against our Indian American community, our Sikh community, our Muslim community, our Hindu community, or any other community that we have inside this state, more often than not, it has been leaders of the Jewish community in this state who have led the fight to protect those people as well. That is a burden which was placed upon you involuntarily, but a charge that I believe this community grasps with gusto and with pride. That because you understand how hate can victimize, that you stand up first when you see hate being perpetrated against others. Your conduct, not only now, but in past episodes of anti-Semitism in this state, is an inspiration to others. And we will continue to work with you to make sure that we speak out against hatred together and that we stand up together for the diversity of the most diverse state in the nation. I am proud to be your governor, and I am proud to stand with you today and every day that I have the great privilege of being a citizen of the greatest state in America, the state of New Jersey. Thank you for letting me be here today and share those thoughts with you. I thank you also for the great privilege you've given me over the last 7.5 years of being your governor. And it is my honor and pleasure to introduce to you a friend and a great representative of this state, United States Senator Cory Booker.
We will make America great again.